is Guardian Radio 96.9 FM. Fresh news, smart talk, all day. The views and opinions of the hosts and guests are their own and do not necessarily reflect the position of the management and staff of Guardian Network.
The aftermath of every social revolution brings about change. Cultural norms and landmarks shift as our minds and hearts expand beyond the familiar. To everything there is a season and a time to every purpose in the land of the living. This is our time to renew, revive, and restore the hope lost to the busyness of life. This is our time to dig again and rebuild from the storms of our past on a solid footing that holds. Welcome to The Foundation.
The Foundation.
The Foundation with Art Grant is brought to you by Burger King, Commonwealth Bank, Kelly's Home Center, Marcos Thomas, and Ron's Electric Motors.
Foundation. So it's the foundation. Foundation. So it's the foundation. Foundation. So it's the foundation.
It's the foundation that's rocking the nation. Howard Grant's the host, Guardian Radio Station 96.9, 12 to 2. It's the time you can call the show or use the text line. Yeah, he educates, he informs. He goes against the norm. He's really got that zeal. Plus, he's a child of God.
Foundation. It's the foundation. Foundation. So it's the foundation. Foundation. So it's the foundation. Foundation. So it's the foundation.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. 96.9 FM radio. Howard Grant in your company. The Foundation on this beautiful Friday afternoon is a laid-back Friday afternoon, a casual Friday, right? That's what we do. We try to kind of keep it light. We've tried our best. Trust me. We've tried our best to kind of keep it light throughout the week. I mean, throughout the course of this show over the past several months, though, that Friday has been the sort of a peak day, the amalgamation of tribulation, and always being able to bring that thing to the forefront. So we're going to do our best today, right? We're going to do our absolute best today and kind of be able to bring that to light, kick it back nice and easy. I want you guys to be able to be a part of the conversation today. 323-6232, 325-4316, 325-4259. Anywhere from the family of islands, 242-300-5720. Or you can definitely be able to hit me up on the text line, 422-4796. We're live and in full effect. Make sure you pick up your Guardian newspaper, all right? We want you to be able to continue to absorb, understand, and apply yourself to national conversation for growth and development. I think it's very important that we don't allow the malarkey that continues to be able to lurk in the shadows, off in the bushes, to startle us or to overtake us in any way. Always keep yourself informed. Make sure you pick up your newspaper. Today in The Guardian, Friday, June 16th, 2023, serious efforts to fight human trafficking. But U.S. urges Bahamas to push for more convictions. Hannah Martin detailed plans for performing arts school. And the Prime Minister Pintard go back and forth on National Investment Fund. Also, you can be able to see Gibson worries WSC, Water and Sewage Company Corporation, subvention, cut could lead to higher water rates. I like his proactive approach to continue to be able to speak with this sort of intensity about what's happening over at the WSC. And also we can see that the teen who was stabbed in school fight, so that's something that you can be able to pick up your papers in and see exactly what's going on in those particular areas. And I want to be able to say something, though, before we go any further. I want to thank all those persons that continue to be able to sponsor the show. Good, decent people, man, throughout the length and breadth of the island, and more specifically to the country. We know that Grand Bahama has shown out more recently and more specifically being able to support us as it relates to the Grand Bahama Rejuvenation Project, the tour that we did from the 5th to the 9th. I want to thank all these persons that has been a part of that, being able to help us move in that direction and make some things happen. And I want to thank Byron over at the Tiki Hut. He has been consistent. Even when I tried to make modifications, he say, Howard, I want to support you. This is how I want to do. Byron is always one of the persons who can be able to kind of open up his arms to not only the tourists that are coming far and wide, but to the community. He's one of the persons that has, it's really a haven, right? I know it's called the Tiki Hut, but we know it's really a haven for a lot of persons who just want to alleviate themselves and kind of kick back. If you've never been to the Tiki Hut, I want to encourage you. Go down there to the Western Esplanade, just in the shadows, right there in the shadows of the point. You can be able to see Byron's Tiki Hut. It has everything. You know, most recently when we were having conversation on what needs to happen on Atlantis and what Bahamians can do, he said, Byron say, hey, wait. We have the cabanas, we have the lounge chairs, we have towels, we have this, we have that. All these things are available just for a day getaway over at the Tiki Hut. And today is Tiki Fridays. Like I said, I want to thank Byron, man. He's a good, decent guy, always giving us an opportunity to be able to spread the message that he has of what he's offering over there at the Tiki Hut. 30% off for all Bahamian persons that are coming down. Just bring your license down. Let persons know your identification. Let them know exactly who you are. Let them know that you heard this stuff here on The Foundation with Howard Grant. We want to be able to see that, get those numbers up. Please go down to the Tiki Hut. Just take a night. I mean, some of y'all just don't stroll anymore. Take some time off, stroll with your sweet thing in the can. She could use it. Talk to me. She didn't have 3 conch salads. She needs to walk. Walk the Western Esplanade. Go down there to Byron's Tiki Hut and pick up a nice margarita. Pick up a nice, yellow bluebird. I don't know what it's called, right? All these particular things. I think he has some specialty drinks there for you also. 30% off over at the Tiki Hut this evening for all persons local. Just let them know that you heard it here first on The Foundation with Guardian Radio. Again, Byron, for being able to do that. Well, let's get into this, man. I want to thank you all so much for being able to do this. Now, this is a Friday. I try to be as decent as possible. Now, my guest was trotting the world. He came here with a glow. I said, what's going on with him? He came here with a glow. He got his fire lens shade on, like, you know, these, how the Nassau fellas say, the fire lens, right? Y'all need to stop, right? He got his fire lens on. He came here with his jacket. He ready to go. You know my guy, man. He's been here with me over the course of, even from the inception. I don't know how many times he's been here, but he's really been able to be dynamic every single time. And I'm grateful for the opportunity to be able to speak with transparency, with this sort of an idea, this unyielding approach to national growth and development of where we need to be politically and otherwise, even from a religious standpoint, spiritually, to where the country needs to be. I want to be able to reintroduce you to my very good guest and very good friend, rather, none other than Garth Roseborough. Garth, my brother, it is wonderful to see you today. Your shirt red. What's going on? Talk to me.
Hey, Howard Grant. It's good to be back on the Bahamian soil. You know, be able to get away every now to appreciate where we're from. And it also gives us exposure worldwide to see where we need to be. You know, I've had the experience while off to think clearly, to assess our national situation, where we sit in the international community. I wouldn't say right offhand that I'm comfortable as a nation. There's so much more work to be done, but what really sat with me while laying there in my bed is that as a nation, I do believe we really do a whole lot of talking and not sufficient action. I only wish that our people who have all of the unction to want to do better would just simply do better. But to say that we want to do better and do absolutely nothing is too erroneous a situation. And we need to now turn this nation around for the better. We are such a blessed people, such a wonderful people. We deserve better, and we can do better.
While you're talking about doing better, I just got a text, and I only read one thing. Now, as a man, I don't know, as a father also, I I don't think I've done. Maybe I follow the course of my father, and his father, and my mother's father, and many fathers in many spaces. That I don't look for celebration on Father's Day. So much so that I don't even identify the thing. Like it's for me to pay. We ain't doing. We're doing nothing, right? So no. So for all those persons, and for all the women out there who have fathers in their life, whether he is absent, whether he needs to be able to kind of step up, I think a good encouraging word, minus the cussing, right, would be one of the things that we can be able to give to our fathers. And also for all the great fathers out there who continues to be able to support their children and support their household and be able to make those particular things happen. I say happy Father's Day to you. You guys, on Sunday, we're going to be able to celebrate. Now, I know a couple people can call me and say, oh, well, this is a capitalist thing happen. Yeah, this is need for capitalism. Father's Day is I know we can hear these things, but for the time that we have, that we've identified as Father's Day here in this dispensation, I want to be able to say and acknowledge the men that have committed themselves. And this ain't one of those days where people can say, well, my mommy is my mommy and my daddy. You need to stop it. You need to stop it. You forget what happened to John. You know who's John? When the angel came down and put the coal on his tongue. Sometimes you just got to shut up. Not in a bad way. I just saying. Today, we acknowledge the men with the chromosomes that commit themselves to family.
You had to throw that in there.
I have to, because this is an ever-changing time. Someone can call me and say this is the new norm. The devil is a liar. Amen. So I want to be able to say happy Father's Day to all the men that are committed, that continue to be able to do that. And I believe that is a difference from just being able to father, to be a father, than to, you don't have to be able to have the preamble of just biological. A lot of persons will let you know that you ain't nothing. Right after the talk. Oh, well, that's my biological daddy. When you hear that, guys, when you hear you're just a biological daddy, this is a lot. That means that you're despondent, you're distant, you never contribute significantly. For all those who have, it ain't too late for you. Once you're living, you got a chance. So you can be able to revive those relationships, renew, revive, restore, and move those things towards growth and development and make those things happen. So I wanted to say a happy Father's Day to all those particular persons who's going to be celebrating Father's Day on Sunday coming up. I just got my truck washed, didn't even think about the thing, right? I didn't even think about this Father's Day thing. I called 98 people to wash my truck today. They come here and do it. Nobody could do it. Went down the road to, I think it was Cordero Avenue. This guy's washing car. Man, listen to me. He set me straight in 45 minutes, couldn't believe it. And my truck was white. It's gray now. Mm-hmm. God is a good God. So I guess this is my Father's Day present to me. That, inclusive, maybe my children wrap one in them necktie again and give it back to me. I don't want God.
So what about those fathers that do more than they should? Well, I don't think you'd ever say more than they should, but let's say they do as much as they could. And then, the lady says to them, man, you ain't never do nothing.
We got to go back to what Rex Major says. The good Right Reverend Rex Major has made a very clear indication that when we have this erroneous, false accusations, when we know that there has been application, we can only fall to the default. You know what that is? Woman's lie. I just want to... I make joke today. Y'all, take it easy. Don't fight me today. It's a beautiful day. I want you guys to be able to be a part of it. Now, listen, man, when you've been gone, since you've been gone, there's a lot of things happen. At the top of the week, I just came back from Grand Bahama. At the top of the week, we started to talk about and it led me to a conversation about legacy. Now, a lot of people hit me all week. Oh, well, you need to stop this foolishness with legacy. Yeah, as though I was trying to craft and create a legacy for the Prime Minister. The Prime Minister has taken on a very strong position and has fortified his position with his increasing steps. We've seen the Vice President from the United States of America come down, Kamala Harris. They had done a great deal of things in terms of motorcades and concessions and all these particular things, all these things riding up and down through the city. We've seen his pronouncements in the budget communication as it relates to what's going to happen, what the intent is, and we've seen him being able to speak to PAC about what needs to happen both locally and regionally as it relates to climate change. We've seen the Prime Minister take on this posture and this position to talk about what needs to happen in Haiti. Talk to me. Our Prime Minister, I said that he could be the Prime Minister of climate change, crafting his legacy. His legacy, in terms of what people identify him for, the strength, the articulation, the poise, the inspiration, talk to me, that comes from him when he speaks of these things that go elsewhere. Kind of reminds me a little bit about our Prime Minister, the former Prime Minister, shedding a tear over the tribulations that happened in Dominica. You remember this? Oh, I got to send $100,000 and shed a tear because of what's happening externally, not acknowledging, identifying, and applying himself to what's happening every day on the ground as the middle class erodes, as there's an increase from an economic standpoint that eradicates the idea for true entrepreneurialism to exist. As education, the budget doubles. But now we're seeing Glenys Hanna in her particular capacity talking about, I think, some 40% of students with the inability to be able to absorb and apply accordingly from an educational standpoint. So the system is really messed up here. Mm-hmm. The system it needs to be set straight. But our Prime Minister and his elevated capacity to oversee what happens within this jurisdiction, the Bahamas, has taken on this posture of being able to speak to what needs to happen elsewhere by saying, hey, listen, Haiti has an issue. We need to help them resolve it, but it has to be a Haitian-led solution. I'm totally confused about this.
I understand why.
Yeah, listen to me. When I see domestic man, I've been married 20 years. It's a decent man. When I see other people rowing, I'll give you an example. I try to be decent. Let me give you one example. It's going to be quick. My wife, people, it was rowing one time. A family. Now, I feel like, I like the people. So I say, sometimes you got to do this, and this, and that. Row day over now. The conversation shift. Now, the husband think I want the woman because I was trying to encourage her during a time of tribulation. I realized something. You don't get in people's business.
Okay.
If it's going to be a Haitian-led solution, don't put your mouth in it.
But you do realize that what we're seeing here is almost similar to that of a home. It's easier to take care of the sweetheart than to take care of the wife because the wife's just too expensive. The issues here in the Bahamas, which is, well, I'm just saying you, that's the way it appears. Because here we are at home. Home has a multitude of issues, a multitude of problems.
Yeah.
Ask yourself the question, why does a man have a sweetheart? Because anytime you go to the sweetheart only has sweet things to tell you. She only has sweet experiences to give you. She doesn't have the issues that you have at home. That's why men have sweethearts. Brave Davis, our Prime Minister, probably feels more comfortable going out to the world where he can choose his audience, choose the situation, be in control of the situation. There are some men in this country, Howard, that cannot control their own home, but they could go to the sweetheart and feel as if they are the king of the castle. And so this may be a similar situation where, with all that's going on, it's not yet comfortable in managing the affairs with the Bahamas, leaving it to the devices of maybe a Glenys Hanna Martin and Fred Mitchell to run the local situation, Chester Cooper, run the local situation, and I'll take care of the external situation. The one thing that I do admire growing up and being able to watch Sir Lyndon Oscar Pinling, the father of the nation, he had total control of home and abroad. When he was here, he had the common touch. He made sure that he was involved in local situations and issues. And when he went abroad, he was just a debonair, eloquent prime minister that we all loved. It's just so possible that looking at the prime ministers of post-Linden era, that they just do not have what it takes to be both. We saw the likes of Hubert Alexander Ingram, who manhandled the country, and he meant everything that he said. It was what it was, and we appreciated his strengths. And then after him, we had a Perry Gladstone Christie that was more laid back, diplomatic, but people felt that he was too soft. And then we had a Hubert Alexander Minnis. I think we're still trying to figure out who the hell he was. And, now we've got Brave Davis, who's simply saying, you know what, I'll take care of home. That's just the way it appears. And so his legacy that you're speaking about in terms of climate change, to me, is just an area of comfort where he feels most suited. And as the prime minister of this country, he feels he can represent us in that particular way. The PLPs of this country, of course, are going to be very impressed with what he's doing abroad. They're going to be very impressed with the way we're handling things locally because it's a political situation. But of course, your FNMs and your opposition is going to say, hey, Mr. Prime Minister, why can't you stay home, grab the bull by the horns, and deal with the issues of the Bahamas? The deteriorating middle class, the people in this country are now hungry. I don't think we're fully recovered from Dorian as yet. Am I right or wrong? We still have all the concerns of Hurricane Dorian that has passed us. People are still traumatized by the COVID-19. Some of us still are shut up in our homes. Don't even know how to come outside no more. Don't even know how to come outside and find a job anymore. Our country has issues. And in the time like this, your prime minister is going to be the person who's going to give you the energy, who's going to give you the sensibility, who's going to ensure that this country is turned back onto the right foot. But right now, our prime minister is still a traveling man.
On Monday, I will read this little piece because you said something. You said something. And I want to be as decent as possible when I read this. In The Guardian, June 12, 2023, with the headline, "We must find solutions for Haiti. CARICOM leaders gather in Jamaica to discuss Haiti crisis." Let me see if I can read a little taste of it. So he says, CARICOM leaders, including stakeholders from Haiti, met in Jamaica yesterday to address the ongoing crisis in Haiti and find workable solutions. Watch me now. The Prime Minister Philip Davis, the chairman of CARICOM, said the deteriorating situation in Haiti must be addressed. And he goes on. He says, "We have come to help, and not because the task is easy." And Davis, during the opening of the 3-day meeting in Kingston. And then he goes on to say, "We have come here precisely because the task is extremely difficult." This I get deeper with this. Because it pricked in my spirit when you said something. And I want to read this next piece. He says, "We have come here precisely because the task is extremely difficult." That's what he says. And then he goes on and he says, "Others can resolve the easy things." Wild. Blew my mind. When you said, you see the whole time he was talking like just going through all my papers? Because I said, the Prime Minister said that. Well, the Prime Minister has indicated, as you articulated and identified Glennis Hannah Martin, Chester Cooper in his particular capacity is deputy, Fred Mitchell in his capacity as chairman and also the head for the Minister for Foreign Affairs. You said maybe he is almost delegating the local responsibilities. And then the Prime Minister, at the opening of the thing, says, "We have come here to help, not because the task is easy. We have come here precisely because the task is extremely difficult.
Okay.
Others can resolve the easy things, but a critical responsibility of leadership is to address those issues which are extremely difficult." This is wild.
Very, very.
Big wild.
Very.
So, what do we call the issues that continue to be able to mount in our country? Would it be called this inexhaustible, insatiable desire for blood to spill on the streets of Nassau? Would it be called 30% decrease in crime, but rapes are up?
The media personality that many of us are aware of says that our Prime Minister speaks with two tongues.
Talk to me. You're getting heavy now.
Okay? So in delegating, you leave the responsibility to those that have been authorized. And when the situation turns negatively, then your tongue changes that, I had nothing to do with that. So I'm saying to you once again, the Prime Minister has put himself in a very comfortable situation where he can control his own legacy, as you said earlier.
Okay, this is what I'm saying. The comfort is not to navigate
It has nothing to do with the
within the
nation.
boundaries of the Bahamas. That's not what he's designing this comfort for. The comfort is whenever is c'est la vie, whenever there is au revoir, whenever there is a time of completion for his tenure in this particular capacity, he can move about. Now you're free to move about the country, to move about the world with this sort of recognition. Oh, this is the Prime Minister.
Okay.
Because you know what?
Okay, you said,
Speaking engagements is big money, you know.
you said, use the word difficult. This is what he's going to take as a difficult.
That's what he says.
So when you identify any issue as difficult, what it means to me is that it is possible to achieve success in overcoming that which is difficult. But if you fail, everybody in the world understood one thing. It was difficult.
That's the preamble.
And so this is why I said to you,
Politicians do that well.
He is extremely good at finding comfortable positions. This is what he does.
That's the preamble.
So his legacy is not a legacy of accomplishment per se, but it's been a legacy of finding the comfortability of his own prime ministership.
You know what, you said something, and if we go through the course of our minds in the pronouncements that come from politicians, local and abroad, they always lead with bad news first. They always lead with bad news, right? They always lead, I got good news and bad news. Let me give you the bad news first. So you could be able to understand the value of the good news when it reached. So the bad news that the Free National Movement gave us, and they keep hitting it, he said the twin tribulations, the twin issues. We had Dorian, we had the pandemic, we had these things. These were enormous mammoth issues. We're unable to fix this, and this. But you understand, because of the twin issues, right? So they continue to be able to lead with the bad, right? Politicians locally, the PLP has taken on this kind of a posture to be able to say the FNM has messed the thing up so bad, but we're going to make some modification now. It may cost us a couple of dollars, and we're going to do the best we can in these areas. Here's the details and whatnot. But don't forget that the FNM has messed this thing. Whatever this preamble is, this thing that goes before is the weight that sits on the shoulder of the community, and we're supposed to accept that. Now you have the apologists calling in. They writing letters to the editor and trying to explain difficulty as though none of us understand. My God.
We experience it every day.
Oh my God.
Every day.
My wallet flat.
There were promises that were made by our present government. Simple situations that I felt were low-hanging fruit that would have been on the table at the House of Parliament to be discussed, put into a bill, and passed. The natural resources was a big hopeful factor for the Commonwealth of the Bahamas. We were looking forward to new revenue streams to come from such. But instead what we got was a whole dray load of taxation. The other thing that the young people, not me myself, I don't partake, but I'm not going to judge either, was the legalization of marijuana. That was the big thing during the electoral season. We're gonna legalize this thing. And then we're like, oh, let's see if this is really going to happen. This is something that could have been done. It probably should have been done, but it wasn't done. So when is it going to be done? Before the next election again?
That's the red herring.
Well, this is what I'm saying to you now. But how long are the Bahamian people going to allow a prime minister to travel around the world and be comfortable and leave the delegation of those people here and the nation for fault? I wasn't the one who was responsible for what happened while you were home. I was abroad. I was in Haiti. I was in Africa. I was in Europe. I was at the United Nations. I was around the world trying to fight for climate change. And then, Exuma You see why I'm talking about climate change? Look what happened to you.
Okay, talk to me.
Your roads are all flooded out.
Talk to me.
That's because the sea levels are rising.
Talk
but
to
then
me.
someone comes and says, you know what, where are the drains for the roads? Oh, so is this climate change or is this just stupidity? I mean, in this day and age, 2023, the Bahamian people, as you said in the last show that I was here, you need to wake up. I mean, if you don't wake up now, this is what I felt this morning in my spirit. I woke up and I said to myself, if the average adult in this country doesn't understand that they are at the point of being obliterated, be very sure that your children are about to be obliterated right now. And if you don't stand now to fight for who you are,
But is there a concern for our children?
there should be, but there really isn't.
There is no concern for the next
We're in
generation.
a self-care society now. Everyone's looking out
Everybody-
for themselves, and the poor
listen.
children are left out there to fend for themselves. That's where we are right now.
Every man for himself and God for us all. Let me take this quick commercial break and be right back after this.
Foundation.
With over 25 years in business, nothing says commitment to our people, culture, and service like Rev. And this, we will continue to elevate your home experience for you to create and share memories for years to come, while keeping you connected to the people and things you love most. Our pledge to provide quality service each year remains true. Rev is made for you.
This is the Nagico Insurance Tip of the Day. Today's tip, know your insurance representative. Is your insurance representative on your side? How do you know? Insurance representatives are either agents or brokers. Agents work in the interests of the insurance company, while brokers are representatives of the client. But here in the Bahamas, some brokers are actually tied to specific insurance companies, thereby blurring the lines between agency and brokerage. This is why you should know your insurance representative. Are they truly independent or tied to an insurer? Do they offer various options from various insurers or explain key policy conditions? Because your insurance representative is your guide through the complex world of insurance. Today's Nagico Insurance Tip of the Day, know your insurance representative.
To the world, he is your dad, but to you, he is the world. Shower your dad with love with a gift from Kelly's House and Home's Father's Day sale, Friday, June 9th through Saturday, June 17th. Save 20% off selected tool sets, luggage, and fishing, diving, and camping gear, except on net items. Shop at Kelly's House and Home on Saturday, June 8th, and if you are standing on the lucky spot, you could win a gift basket for Dad. Visit our Facebook page for more information. Shop Kelly's House and Home's Father's Day sale, June 9th through 17th. Happy Father's Day from Kelly's House and Home.
Director of RBC Royal Bank Bahamas with some big news that will elevate your debit card experience. RBC's new Visa debit chip card will soon be here. To make things easier for you, we're offering free FedEx delivery when you validate your contact details. No need to wait in line. We'll bring the card straight to you. Call 356-8500. Select option 7 for Visa Debit Direct Line and update your delivery address. Our team is available weekdays between 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. Take advantage of the security and convenience of chip and PIN technology. Free delivery is for a limited time, so act now.
Foundation. Foundation. The foundation. The foundation. Foundation.
And we are back, ladies and gentlemen, 96.9 FM radio. Howard Grant and your company, The Foundation, on this beautiful Friday. a laid-back, casual Friday, being able to do those things with you. I'm so grateful that you're here, guys. If you want to be a part of the conversation, please 323-6232, 325-4316, 325-4259, anywhere from the family of Islands, 242-300-5720, and hit me up 422-4796. Let me see if I can take the telephone call. Carly on the line with us live. Go ahead. Go ahead, Carly, on the line with us live.
Wait so long with you, Howard.
Hey, good afternoon, my brother. Turn the thing.
In the other room, okay?
Okay. Put him on hold for 2 seconds. All right, baby, when you get a chance, give me a call back so we can be able to do those things. Now, let's just be very clear about this, right? Let's just be very clear about this, all right? Where we are, there seems to be a kink in the armor. Garth, if you're just tuning in, ladies and gentlemen, I got my good friend Garth Roseborough here in the studio with me. There seems to be a kink in the proverbial armor that the fiber of the PLP. There seems to be a sense of inconsistency where the traditionals are eagerly rushing to kind of pull it together and trying to displace persons. There seems to be this, right? When we look at the posture, a lot of persons are really grandstanding as it relates to what's happening in the House of Assembly to talk about their ministries. They give me this false bravado, this sort of an idea that, some things are happening. Whoa, but the truth of the matter is that we live here. I think people, they forget that. We live here. When the pandemic happened, let's be clear, to the height of the pandemic, despite the fact that we weren't traveling, there is no way, nowhere you went and looked at your money that you were spending and saw American money. You could not find American money in this country. We knew without the newspapers telling us that things are turning around when someone popped a 20.
That's it.
A 5, a 10. We knew that things were shifting when taxi drivers could change $100 for us. We knew that. No one needed to tell me from a national perspective and stand in the House of Assembly and stand in any capacity and come to the news and say things are changing. I could see it. I could feel it. I live here. The island only big as my palm. And so when people are moving, we can see these particular things. This grandstanding in the House of Assembly that speaks about various ministries, but that doesn't give us a very clear path of what things are going to happen or where we're going to go. This communication budget, this particular concept that speaks to these things, that continues to regurgitate things of yesterday, it doesn't bode well for this organization, especially when they're now shifting Clint Watson and his particular capacity from the office of the Prime Minister, right? Let's just be decent. Clint Watson now, in the office of the Prime Minister, the press secretariat, if you read sort of if you read what the office of the Prime Minister has put out about Clint Watson, you'd ask yourself, well, why you move him? He started everything. He fixed this. He was able to cause the government to all the fractions of media. He's done all. Well, why would you move Clint? Clint's capacity, sometimes I feel like he switched roles. Sometimes I feel like he's Clint beyond the headlines, right? And then sometimes I feel like he's Clint press secretary. And when you're on your feet, your training comes to mind. I don't believe that it boded well for him in that particular capacity. But Clint is a representation of what the PLP could expect from this next dispensation and generation of leaders. In the PLP, in the FNM, throughout the length and breadth of the country, there is an expectation, not just for instant gratification, but for transparency. People do not wish to hide honesty. And they feel indifferent if they can see something and not say it like it is. That I have to make modifications and spin this thing just to be able to keep a job. Some things are going to be happening. Talk to me about it, Garth.
Well, I'll say this. and I don't want to just harp on this solely, but if the Prime Minister was present in the country, he's effectively running this country, there are certain ministries that should have been shuffled almost immediately.
You're getting heavy, sir.
Because when we look at the resume of these individuals, we look at their experience, we look at their talent, we look at their performance. They're not meeting the mark. Therefore,
do you care to elaborate and give me specifics? Talk to me.
Well, for instance, all the heat that was put on immigration initially, my neighbor Keith Bell, I would have shuffled. He was the Minister of Immigration, the Minister of Labor. I would have shuffled. National security,
but
I would have shuffled.
Shuffling shouldn't just be relegated to whether or not a minister in his or her capacity is able to articulate without being able to give all the information of what's happening within the confines of their ministry. Shuffling should have to do with.
But the thing about it is that,
productive in this particular space?
But not only productivity. If you plan on being the next governor of the Bahamas in a re-elective form, there are certain people that just simply embarrass you. When you had that whole debacle with Miles for the Road and the National Insurance Board situation, I understand Bahamian politics very well.
They fixed that.
Yeah, but
hold on.
The damage has been done.
The damage has been done.
The damage has been done.
And the PLP has always been an organization that seeks to be able to do damage control. And the control thereafter
they do
is
damage
to make
control,
modifications.
but their communication practices are always in need. They don't know how to communicate very well to the Bahamian people. And therefore, there's a whole lot of misunderstandings and misrepresentations and misfindings. And at the end of the day, our people in the Commonwealth of the Bahamas are very fickle, very sensitive people. And once you have done an error, they are prepared to crucify you. The same people for the last, 20 years?
But politicians know better than that.
They should know better than that.
No, politicians know better than that. And in fact, they would tell you that. They're almost like the magician, like David Copperfield. They can tell you, is this your card? I'm going to take this card. You're going to choose this from the deck, and I'm going to take it out of your top pocket. And you can't. But my God, when you look in your top pocket, Ace of Spades. Let me take this card before we go.
Ace of Spades in 20 years, Howard.
Let me take this telephone call before I go to commercial break. Caller on the line, go ahead. That's a caller?
Yeah.
Hey, yes, sir.
Oh, he's back.
What I want to ask you, right?
Mm-hmm.
You start to say something about the water, right?
Mm-hmm. Good water.
What's the content of that?
The water increase. We're going to have a water increase shortly.
Yes.
The cost of water.
Yes.
Look here. Hello?
Yes, go ahead.
The thing is, what I'm trying to figure out, right? Why should the Bahamian people have an increase when the immigration people are not doing their job by keeping the illegals out of our country what causing our water price to go up? Not only that, right? The people that works along the road, right, that sell food and stuff like that, right? They're getting free water, okay? And all that coming, that elevation coming right back, that money elevation coming right back to me. They should get that under control, okay? You can't have those kind of stuff going on in the country and then the Bahamian public got to pay for it, especially the poor people. That's indecent. Thank you.
I appreciate your telephone call. Garth, we hear and we're putting it all on the table, my brother.
That's a complex situation.
It's always, there's complexity that exists here, but there's also a double side to that. The complexity that every issue that we face in this finds its base in immigration. I think that's crazy. I think it's crazy that Bahamian people seek to identify an external entity to blame. No one does introspection. And I say no one, that's far and wide. I'm not talking about you individually. I'm talking about collective organizations, corporations, entities that does this sort of introspection to be honest enough to say that, okay, I think we need to be able to pivot and move in this direction. No one does the introspection. No one looks within themselves to say, maybe we could make some modifications in these areas. Huh? You get divorced 6 times. You think you find 6 crazy people? It just may be you, baby. Something wrong. But we got to talk about these things. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm here live and in full effect with my good friend Garth. You know the numbers to do. Be a part of the conversation today. I want to see you when we get back. We're going to go to a break, go to news, and be right back after this.
The foundation. The foundation.
At Marco's Pizza, we never skip on quality or ingredients. Save some cash and satisfy your cravings with our new carry-out medium 2-topping pizza for only $12.50. That's right, order 2 of your favorite toppings like sausage and green peppers on 1 medium pizza for only $12.50. VAT inclusive on our app or online. Made daily with fresh dough, our signature sauce, and fresh cheese. Only at Marco's Pizza. Restrictions apply.
Couldn't survive without my credit card machine from Fidelity.
It's fast, convenient, and my clients love it.
My sales increase, and I can track my earnings.
Get your credit card machine from Fidelity today.
Call 356-7764.
At Ron's Electric Motors, they repair and rewind all major brands of electric motors, including water pumps, generators and the generator's back end, welding machines, electric lifts, air compressors, battery chargers, and more. They're equipped to handle up to 850 kilowatts and rewind up to 450 horsepower motors. They're conveniently located on the corner of Wolf and Clarence Roads and are open weekdays 8 a.m. to 5 p.m., Saturdays till noon. They offer 24 hours emergency assistance. You can reach them at 242-356-0249.
Guardian Radio and the Foundation are on the move.
Bahamas, this one's for you.
SBT, Small Business Thursdays. Every Thursday, the Foundation with Howard Grant will highlight small businesses throughout the country, far and wide. Your products, services, prices, and personality. We want to hear it all. Get your 30 or 60-second advertisement heard on air at a fraction of the cost. Understand the times and don't want you to be left behind. With Guardian Radio, you reach your specific demographic, and it is unmatched.
We reach thousands daily.
Get your products off the shelf and your services in their hearts. Small Business Thursdays with the Foundation, only on Guardian Radio 96.9 FM. For more information, call 302-2300 or the Help Me Howard line at 827-0111. SBT, Small Business Thursdays. Get your business moving today.
To the world, he is your dad, but to you, he is the world. Shower your dad with love with a gift from Kelly's House and Home's Father's Day sale, Friday, June 9th through Saturday, June 17th. Save 20% off selected tool sets, luggage, and fishing, diving, and camping gear, except on net items. Shop at Kelly's House and Home on Saturday, June 8th, and if you are standing on the lucky spot, you could win a gift basket for Dad. Visit our Facebook page for more information. Shop Kelly's House and Home's Father's Day sale, June 9th through 17th. Happy Father's Day from Kelly's House and Home.
This is Guardian Radio 96.9 FM, Nassau, Bahamas. This is Guardian Radio 96.9 FM, Nassau, Bahamas.
Foundation. Foundation. The foundation. The foundation. Foundation. The foundation. The foundation.
And we are back, ladies and gentlemen. 96.9 FM radio. Howard Grant in your company this beautiful Friday afternoon. So happy to be in your company. Good and decent people of the country and throughout the entire my good friend from St. Louis always is listening to me. I got a couple people in Texas listening to me. Down there in South Florida, they listen. Grand Bahama, all over. I say good afternoon to you persons, my good people, all the time being able to tune in. I thank you so very kindly for being able to do that. And thank you for being a part of the foundation. Listen, if you want to be able to contribute in one way or another, right? Because this ain't free and it ain't cheap. Talk to me. If you want to contribute in one way or another, I want to be able to extend that to you and afford you an opportunity. Now, I believe in reciprocity in relationships. I really do. I believe that there should be a give and take. I believe that relationship, like love, should be two ways. And so in forging these relationships, I ain't asking you for nothing without being able to yield something for you. If you want me to be able to put your products and services out there for you, please give me a call, 827-0111, 827-0111. Be a part of that and be able to, support the thing. I thank you so very kindly, guys, for being able to do that. Now, I'm in studio with none other than Garth Roseborough. He's here always equipped, sharp, prepared, and ready to go. Without this kind of, sometimes you get people in here, Garth. I've been, and I tell you, I've been doing this forever, but the discernment I have is on 10, okay? And so when people sit with me, I make a determination as to whether or not, I tell them it's good. This is good. Because truthfully, it was good. You didn't say anything wrong. You didn't go contrary. Mm-hmm. But in terms of substantive, if we're just trying to be able to fill 2 hours, then, for the most part, everyone's good. We fill the 2 hours. But if we want to be able to yield, lend, substance, prick the consciousness of the Bahamian people and make them to understand behind the proverbial that there exists the wizard on an organ, creating the illusion of tremors and fear and so forth. Those are the conversation I look for.
How would I?
Those are the conversations I want to get to, because if we're not looking, we've been traveling this yellow brick road for 70 years now. Watch me. You see what I did there? You see what I did there? There's the yellow brick road. You see? It's a political road. We've been traveling this road for years now.
Not the Red Palace?
Right? There are persons on this proverbial road with no heart. They've been searching for it. There are persons on this road, proverbial road, with no brain. A great deal of them have ended up detoured off this course, this yellow brick road, and ended up in the House of Assembly. No brains. You understand?
Yeah, we got a
There are persons that lack courage, that sit on the sidelines and forge political organizations and just yell and scream until they're given an opportunity to be able to put on a hat. There are persons, but those of us who follow this thing to the end and recognize that this entire thing was a joke, a sham.
It has
we
to
can
be.
see behind the screen.
It has to be.
We got to talk about that.
It's 2023. We're now in the month of June. We're halfway through the year. Next year's going to be 2024, 2 years before a general election. Let's just say it the way it is. Ask yourself the question, has our Prime Minister been a Prime Minister of national interest? Either yes or no. You see, we have to now start telling the truth here. Who has been running this country in this particular era?
Be an autopilot.
We have had like all types of situations. I'm talking about transgender, sexual. Wait a minute, when mommy and daddy goes out of the house,
autopilot,
the children take the house over, and there's no rules, no regulations. I remember as a child, the minute my parents left the house, I go to the stereo, put in that cassette tape, and I blast that reggae as high as I could, and I'm dancing and bopping like a fool. And the minute I see my parents' car coming up the driveway, I turn it back off. This is the type of country we're now running. Daddy is not home, and so everything seems to be running amok. I'm not picking on anybody on this particular instance. All I'm simply saying is that, can we at least have some semblance of control? Can we at least look like a country that's heading somewhere? I mean, I'm hearing about investments and on Paradise Island. I'm hearing about investment in Exuma. And then I'm hearing about problems down in Acklands. I'm hearing about problems in Maguana. I'm hearing about problems in Crooked Island. I'm hearing about problems, on other family islands. What type of country are we running? Are we solving? Are we moving? Are we stagnated? I'm just totally confused. Okay, some things are coming, but a whole lot of other things are falling apart is what I'm saying to you. 2016, we had a sovereign wealth fund that was supposed to empower Howard Grant, his wife, his children, his legacy. Now we have a national investment fund where everything's going to now be consolidated. This was the same fund that was here before the sovereign wealth fund. And so if there are any carbon credits to be received, if there are any monies from natural resources, or any other of like oil and all the other rest of the stuff and Ragonite and so forth, this now goes back into this National Investment Fund, which is a consolidated fund, so that our Prime Minister can continue to travel all over the world. That's what we're saying, because nothing else is happening. I don't see anything that's new that's going to happen that's going to propel the Bahamas to the 2030 and beyond.
I want to ask you this question. When's the last time? Let's look at America. Let's more specifically. Guys, I see your telephone calls. America, when you think was the last era or dispensation of leadership? Now, I don't want to say true leadership. I don't want your definition of leadership. I want to know, when was the last time in the United States of America you've identified leadership to lead people in one direction or another? Talk to me. Which president embodied this particular leadership stance and moved people in one direction or another? That's a very easy question. Answer that.
You think that's easy?
That's an extremely easy question.
But I had two. And I was a child, so I wouldn't even understand politics. But I had two.
Okay.
I had Jimmy Carter.
Okay.
And I had Ronald Reagan. Those were my two.
Okay. Those are very two. I said the last time, though. So you dismissed Trump.
We've not seen leadership that had a conscience in decades.
Hold on. We didn't identify this leadership to be progressive or regressive. It's leadership. It moves people. Trump was able to move people. Obama came in, inspired people. It moved people. When was the last time we had leadership in this country that moved people? Every single election cycle and dispensation, right after the election, they continue to be able to tell you about the eroding numbers of persons that showed up. They're showing you that people are registered, but they're not inspired, they're not motivated, they're not encouraged, they're not inclined to get up and go on a line to put an X on a paper for people who they don't believe in. They don't believe that have the best interests of themselves, their family. They don't believe they have the best interests of the country, but they continue to be able to win, these men and women, and find themselves in position, and we end up on the radio having these kind of conversations every single time. This is what happened.
Well, I felt Trump had his own agenda.
Of course he did. He still does.
And I felt Obama had his own agenda.
He still does.
But when it came to people,
does Joe Biden, in his capacity as president of the United States of America, does he move people?
Yeah, he moving them rainbow people. He moving the pride people.
You're getting heavy.
He moving pride people.
But
but once again, I'm not even picking on the pride people. I'm just simply saying to you, he has an agenda. See, my thing for leadership isn't about your agenda. It cannot be your agenda. Brave Davis's agenda, he says, is climate change. That's not his real thrust, His real thrust is he wants to be known internationally for something.
Yeah, you get $150,000.
So that's his thing, to build his own legacy. That to me is not leadership. That's what I call selfishness.
When you call Bill Clinton right now, you can't. $250 is changing.
I like Bill. He's a man of charisma.
Listen,
the man got
$250,000
But at the end
change.
of the day, the same Bill Clinton went into Haiti and doggone economically raped the doggone people in the rice fields of Haiti. So that's why I cannot say I like Bill Clinton as a leader. Bill Clinton also is a political opportunist, like most of these other people.
My point to you is that this prime minister, if there is a long game to be played, our prime minister, the prime minister of the country right now, Philip Brave Davis, in his capacity, is playing a long game. This is not a short game. We play short games locally. The prime minister of this country is playing the long game. The relevance cannot exist within the boundaries of this country. He cannot exist beyond this 5 years.
Who's going to vote? Who's going to vote for him in 2026? Let me hear this.
Excuse me.
Is Haiti going to vote for him?
If he is a savvy politician, and I believe that he truly is, I'm going to be very clear with you. I believe that Brave Davis is a savvy politician. He's savvy.
Sell me.
Every single person who said Brave can't even travel, the first thing he did was sipping a beer over at.
He has immunity. He can travel everywhere.
Excuse me, coming the prime minister, right?
Okay.
He needed to show you that he had that ability. I'm only saying to you that he debunked everything that was said on the ground because he understands his savvy. He didn't have to come and speak to anything. He just showed you with a picture. He's savvy in those areas. He's also savvy to understand over the past five election cycles, there's been change.
Yes.
The inevitability of that being able to shift is, I don't believe that he thinks that it's going to be under his ruleship. He doesn't have that factor, that it factor, to be able to gravitate people. Perry Christie is the closest with that it factor after Lyndon Pindling.
Charisma.
That
Total
charisma. He's the closest, and he's still off by miles.
And Papa had his loyal following because they loved his strength. I mean, they all had their strengths.
So my point to you
But
is,
how
do I survive after this leadership spell, this leadership stay? How do I survive in terms of global and local relevance after I become the Prime Minister of the Bahamas?
Yeah, but he better survive because I'm saying to you.
Me and Mark are doing it big time.
In 2 years' time, next 2 years, he's also gone and more than likely, with our historical look at politics in this country, he's going to be gone in the next election. I'm not against a Brave Davis. I'm not against a Michael Pintard. I am for the Bahamas, but I'm simply saying, when the hell are these people going to go to work? That's all I'm simply saying, My disgust is not with the person, My disgust is the way that they function. There's no functionality with these people. These people have no care or no concern, it seems, for people like us. They have their cronies who get their contracts, and they eat steak and lobster and crab and caviar and Dom Perignon, and they're living high on the doggone hog, and then they come back every 4 or 5 years and say, you know what, Bahamian people, we number one. Oh, Bahamian people, I love you. Oh, Bahamian people, I's your boy. Come on, let me buy your bear. Let me buy you some old chicken. And then you eat the chicken, you drink the doggone bear, you vote them back in again, and then you can't even call them on the telephone. They don't answer. Okay? In 2 years' time, I can almost guarantee you that this government is going to be gone. Not because the people are anti-PLP, it's because of performance. The Bahamian people are not prepared to take your nonsense after 5 years. And they've shown that to us since when? 2002? Every 5 years we change you. Why? Not because you're PLP, not because you're FNM, it's because you're no damn good. You got to do better, man. When the people hire you to do a job, you have to be competent and you have to be noble. These people be called honorable or showing all type of dishonor in this country. Our people are hurting. These people need to be leaders in their own constituencies. Where are they in the constituency? I just spoke to a man coming in from Dominican Republic. I was on the plane with him, and he said that they told their representative in Maguana that, listen, man, we got to do better down here. We need better shipping situations down here in Maguana. So you know what the man told them? You need to go buy your own boat. That's what leaders telling the people. But on election year, the same person say, oh, man, I can fix that. I can fix that. Well, let me ask you a question. In 2021, this government said they can fix every doggone thing. Show me something that they can fix for us now, man. Or they can fix it in 2025 or 2026. When are they going to fix it?
Next time. Let's see if we can take this telephone call. Caller, you're on the line with us live. Go ahead.
That calls me suck my teeth, man.
Just don't cuss on the people radio. Go ahead, caller.
Hello.
Hey, Sparky.
A pleasure. Good afternoon.
What's up, Sparky?
I hear anger in the voice.
Right, Honorable Sparky.
Hello?
Yeah, Sparky, right here. What's up?
As I hear anger in the voice of the gentleman there.
You sound like you're angry. Talk to him, Sparky. You
Pain,
hear anger in your voice.
No, I agree. I just frustrated because Sparky, I believe we could do better, Sparky. But we letting them get away.
Okay. You had a long run there, to Howard about the company. So give me my time, please.
Go ahead, Sparky. Contribute.
Thank you very much. I listened to what he's saying. And there is pain on the ground from Bahamians. Now, I've said it many times that of all I've known myself from 18 years old voting in the Bahamas, I've voted PLP. I voted FNM one time, and I think majority of the Bahamian people around that time, in 1992, had gotten tired of piddling and the cronies. In the beginning 10 years, I think he did a remarkable job. And then the cronies latched on him like dicks. And they became almost powerful as the dictator himself. And then the people got tired of the cronies. And the people got together to get rid of Mr. Pillen. They didn't want to get rid of Mr. Pillen, you know. They needed to get rid of the cronies. Another way to get rid of the cronies, you had Mr. Pillen had to fall too. And then came the F&M. And then came the Pitbull. And then Perry. And then Minnis. And then Davis. And it's like it said, it seems to be the same thing over and over. And the majority of people seem to be hurting. I personally believe that Mr. Davis is trying his level best in his capacity. But I believe he's also been met with a bunch of young, first-time politicians going into the House with little bit of experience and very few old-time politicians who's been there many times before and trying to push to get it better. And like the gentleman said about trying to make calls, I've said this on talk shows, I've said this on WhatsApp, on Facebook. I have the same problem with my MP. Going through the campaign, everybody heard but Sparky or WhatsApp. After the election, I've seen him once. I've tried to call him, no answer, no this, no that. Same problem. But hey, they say they're busy. So I take it again, so I guess I'll see him maybe the year before election again. But the problem is, in the meantime, Mr. Grant, the cost of living is going up around all of us. As a senior citizen, very little changes unless something else happens for you, for just a period of. You live it off of national insurance now, you can hardly afford corned beef and grits. And there's no change in sight, and people are hurting. Howard, I must say this because I know you need me to go. The other day we built a brand new hospital. Now, Howard, look at the entrance of the hospital. You have to walk up a hill to get to the entrance of the hospital, right?
Mm-hmm.
Or drive up in a car, right?
Mm-hmm.
Imagine you being a senior citizen with a back problem on Shirley Street, or a leg problem or a foot problem, to get inside the entrance of the hospital. You have to walk up a hill.
Mm-hmm.
That makes sense?
Mm-hmm.
And you're 70-something or 80-something, and no children there to push you up there in a wheelchair, so you got to struggle. The other day, I had an injury, messed up a shoulder, rib, and broken my left arm.
Mm-hmm.
Now, we had to get me to the hospital, but other than that, the person who was giving me a ride, their brother has an emergency. He has to go in the hospital. We pulled up to the hospital entrance. 3 cars parked in the hospital entrance, right there at the entrance, Howard. None of them got to disable the cars. So I told the driver of the car where I was, I said, park right behind this brand new Mercedes, park in the disabled lot. I said, park right behind him. I said, you can't do that, Sparky. I say, you supposed to be in there, see you on the car on your windshield. That's where you're supposed to park, so park behind him.
So what you think we should do with this, Sparky? Talk to me about it, because I got to let you go.
Oh, no, I sat in the car.
I got to let you go, don't mean I just cut him. I can fight you. All right, Sparky. So let me take a next telephone call. Calling you on the line with us live. Go ahead.
Howard and Gosh, good afternoon.
Hey, my brother, what's up? It's Jeff.
Right here, boy. I spent the whole afternoon thus far from getting your program, listening quite intensely.
Thank you, my brother.
To the conversation. I must say, having Gosh on your show is a big breath of fresh air, because guess what? He does not skim the cream off the top. Mm-hmm. He goes under the surface and really dive in and deal with the issues as we all out here are facing without fear of contradiction or victimization. I applaud him for that because, he is like me. I'm not getting at the stage right now, whereas I want to call names, but we know how people in this country goes. You speak truth to power. And the persons who know that they're doing wrong to the people in this country, when you start to call their names, they start coming up with this technicality, but bring the proof, when the proof has already been exposed a long time. And we as people, we know who the people are. We see what they're doing. But because tangibly bring it forward, then they want to victimize and take you out. And that's how this country is being run even today. Mm-hmm. So let me make my 2 contributions here and get off the radio here. First and foremost, the tier 1 that apparently the persons, international persons are talking about the Bahamas, obviously have met the minimum level of tier 1 of this what's this immigration or human trafficking. I've spoken numerous of times on the radio and tell you, until we can solve this illegal migration situation into this country, that matter, tier 1, that is a joke. There are 5 points with illegal migration we have to be very concerned with in this country, and they touch one, but there are 4 more that they need to look at. And I'll point them out again, as I usually say on radio. You got human trafficking, you got prostitution, you got gun running, you got drug running, and you also have organ harvesting. You see, the Prime Minister, in a pronouncement a little while ago, talked about creating an agency or entity where people who want to donate organs and stuff, when they pass away, they're able to do so. But what about these illegal migrants coming here that goes missing on this voyage, and they are no more? What is their demise? Where are they? Did they die in the ocean, or were their organs harvested? You see, we have to look at these things quite succinctly and stop dancing around the tea leaves. This is a very serious transnational stuff that's going on in this country, and we have to be quite open, honest with ourselves, and address it and call it for what it is. Okay? So I put that on the table. The second point I want to bring about is Adrian Gibson and Water and Sewage Corporation. Facing points. Despite the fact that Adrian is right now facing charges and stuff. The man is innocent until proven guilty. I'm not even going to address that. Brayman mentioned something that sparked my interest, and I spoke to this again as well on radio. We got all these government pumps all around in these communities. And I've seen people go to the pump and leave the water running in the streets, flooding the whole water running for a mile or two. Who do you think got to pay for that water? I, the taxpayer, you, the taxpayer, and all of us as taxpayers. We want to talk about infrastructure in this country. We know about Baines and Grantstown and the rest of these communities that do not have running water in their facilities. I long to see a government where the outhouses are removed and these pumps are removed off the streets. Let's begin to put the infrastructure into these homes and get these persons who are using these commodities also to contribute to paying for it. You talk about prosperity and moving this country forward. These are some of the things that we must do in order for us to be responsible, for us to be plan our futures going ahead, and our government to be responsible in not only providing the commodities, but also being responsible for collecting for the commodities for which we, the people, use. So that's my contribution for today. I hope I'm making a hell of a lot of sense today. And next time God comes on the radio, I would like you to invite me in the studio as well, so we can all hold this
Jeff,
government and the other government to come feet to the fire. Thanks for taking my call.
Okay, Jeff, we could do that. That's no problem. We could be able to make that happen for you.
He's the second person who's... you got another caller?
I won't touch this. No, I got to take a commercial break, but I got to touch this. Garth said something. And if you remember when former Prime Minister Perry Christie indicated that he didn't even know, I didn't even know that they didn't have an outhouse, right? And all of us, our mouth dropped, right? You remember the story where the young lady was in the bag and put it in the garbage, folded and put it in the garbage. Do you remember these stories? This was in the news. Okay.
Farm Road.
Okay, right. So she used to tie it up and put it in the garbage. I didn't even know that it was an outhouse, right? Now, Travis Robinson be able to come in and started to be able to do something in being in Grandtown. And he and I had this conversation about being able to create this concept and eradicate this stuff, right? And so a lot of people like to put complexity to this. They like to talk about how this is generational property in certain areas, this, this is that. But my only cause and concern is social growth and productivity. I'm not concerned about anything else. When Hubert Ingram made the decision to shift the direction of the roads, it was for the purposes of flow for the city. He brought in consultants and he got to work. You'll vote him out, but before he was voted out, he did a lap around. Remember on the back of the Jeep? He did a lap around on these particular roads and these paved ways, so forth. And so my point to you, whilst we continue to be able to talk about this debt for nature swap and being able to alleviate ourselves of some of the international debt that we have in being able to accept certain positions or treaties, ideas, concepts, whatever, from external entities to make modifications locally. Our government has the responsibility to be able to identify these issues internally. Our Prime Minister has gone out to talk about the entire world. And people in Baintown right now going outside debate.
Well, listen,
Right now.
I want to jump on this for just 2 minutes before your commercial
The
break.
Prime Minister going around the world and talking about
Howard.
climate change
Yeah, I know.
and water raising.
I'm with you on
and
that.
we can die.
I'm with you on that, and I heard Jeff. And let me say this to you. The inner city of Bain and Grantstown, Farm Road, Angliston, St. Barnabas, bad rap for the outdoor pumps and the outside toilets. They always get a bad rap for that. Let me share something with you here in the Bahamas. This is very, very powerful for me. Number one, I'm a plumber. People know that I went to BTVI. I'm a plumber. How many times have I gone to someone's house whose pump has gone down or whose water lines have been broken? And I myself gone to that same government spigot to get 15, 20, 30 gallons of water in my vehicle to ensure that that family has water for the night. Because without water, you're looking at a hygienic issue. Okay? I'm just putting that out there. I'm just putting it out there because ain't no neighbor giving you no water. That's just our people mean like that. The other thing I want to say to you is that in South Beach, I'm not going to call any family's name, I personally installed a bathroom for the house with running water, toilet, etc. They were using the scandal bag too. What I'm saying to you, Bahamas, is this. This is not just a spigot problem, an outdoor toilet problem. This is a
infrastructural
issue. No, but I'm saying it starts in our own mind, our own being. You could take a man out of the grove, but you can't take the grove of the man.
No. I from 8 Mile Rock. You
used to use outside toilet?
I from 8 Mile Rock. My family, watch me. My family grow and born there.
So, but what I'm saying to you, Howard,
we have a pump every time the power go across. We have a pump walk right across the street, and we can be able to get it every time. So we have duality.
That's a
in
government
this space.
spigot.
Right? No, my granddaddy dig that. My great grandfather dig that.
Yeah,
pump.
but how much people can go put pump across the road for everybody to use?
No. Understand this. This is a different. Reed Family Islands. My point to you is
you're
this.
different. Is correct.
My point to you is this. When you start to have a conversation about being able to see change and reform in the communities, you have to treat the communities with the level of respect, with the sort of dignity that you expect them. If we're going to talk about an ever-expanding, progressive, moving world, and the Bahamas is stuck every time these young people look in their phone, they could see the world moving at fast pace, at rapid pace. You understand me?
You know
While the PRP talk about this concept that they have built the infrastructure and the FNM come behind, and Adrian Gibson in his particular capacity, when he was the head of overall water sewage, come to tell the then leader of the Progressive Liberal Party, but you didn't do this in Cat Island, I had to do this, y'all didn't never do this, and so forth and so on. No one takes into consideration that this is not for political brownie points. That's where you're losing people. That's why you're losing people.
Yeah, this is supposed to happen.
This is for human beings.
Human dignity.
This is for life.
Yes.
These indecent people sitting in their thing, they could get a pedicure, manicure, whatever in their house. They got the whole jet set.
Okay. And so what I'm driving at you, though, Howard, though, and I agree with you, this is what governments are supposed to be doing, right?
But he can't do it if he in COP29.
And I agree. I agree. And guess what? We want to have a sugar tax in this country, and we don't even have a littering tax. Anytime someone litter on the ground, there should be a penalty for that, right?
But they don't have a problem with that.
Old fridge in the bush.
There's
they
no
got
problem
old
with
cars
that.
in the bush.
You know why?
The garbage in the bush.
Because there's going to come a time when the IDB or the World Bank says we want to give you some money, but you have to make modifications to your environment.
But do the IDB have to be the ones to make us do that?
$20-some million, and then the government can identify people to hire. That is what the trend has been.
Yes, but Howard, that is disgusting.
It is absolutely
distasteful,
deplorable.
Yes,
but that is the nature of politics.
For
in
me
this
to
country.
be a clean nation, I gotta have the United States promise me some money so I can get it done.
For you to fix your dump.
Homeboy, listen, in this country, I'm from Turks and Caicos. I'm not trying to offend anybody. Yesterday, I was in Providenciales. When I came off of the airplane, they had me stand outside in the hot sun. The Lord liveth and is my God. I'm outside in the hot sun for 40 minutes sweating. Bullets couldn't get inside the airport. Once I got to the security and they finally opened the door, I said to the lady, this has been a horrendous experience. She says, what's your problem? I says, ma'am, do you think it would be nice if I had you standing in the sun for 40 minutes sweating? And she said, oh, for that we apologize. And then she had all types of attitude. And then I got inside the airport. There was no Wi-Fi. The floors were dirty and flies were flying all over the place. And the air condition was off. I was like, what type of doggone place is
That
this?
ain't Church of Caicos Islanders.
I'm just simply saying to you. I'm just simply saying to you, something was wrong. What I'm saying to you is this. I do believe that the Turks and Caicos Islands are simply wonderful, paradisical. I'm sure the people there are very nice. But the first impression turned me off completely.
That's also the first impression a great deal of people get when they go to our straw market.
This is what I'm saying.
Which is no longer Bahamian.
This is the point that I'm making.
Right,
when you come to my country and as a tourist on your little motorbike and you ride around and you see the doggone fridge in the bush and you see the old cardam in the bush and this bunch of pot cake running around the place, the mingy pot cake. Come on, man, Bahamas, we can do better. We don't need America and the IDB to promise us money in order to fix our situations, man.
Well,
let's get this thing right one time, because we are people of pride and dignity.
If we would
and let's be the people that we are.
Johnson for money.
We'd be like money. Oh, Jesus, we sell our soul for money.
We could find a way to see productivity and growth in this country.
But that's why the vice president was here. She's promising us some money.
$100 million for the region. I know how we can slice that up. Let me take this telephone. Let me take this commercial break, ladies and gentlemen. Be right back.
That may not reach us, man.
Let me take a break.
That's a national investment fund.
Girl, why you so sweaty?
Charlotte getting ready for the Bahamas Games.
Bahamas Games? What that is?
The Games started in 1989 under the then Minister of Sports, Peter J. Bethel, and now Minister Mario Boleg.
When the Games is?
This July 7th to the 15th.
For more info,
go to www.thebahamasgames.org
or call 322-1029.
To the world, he is your dad, but to you, he is the world. Shower your dad with love with a gift from Kelly's House and Home's Father's Day sale, Friday, June 9th through Saturday, June 17th. Save 20% off selected tool sets, luggage, and fishing, diving, and camping gear, except on net items. Shop at Kelly's House and Home on Saturday, June 8th, and if you are standing on the lucky spot, you could win a gift basket for Dad. Visit our Facebook page for more information. Shop Kelly's House and Home's Father's Day sale, June 9th through 17th. Happy Father's Day from Kelly's House and Home.
I'm Lasagna Meze, Managing Director of RBC Royal Bank Bahamas, with some big news that will elevate your debit card experience. RBC's new Visa debit chip card will soon be here. To make things easier for you, we're offering free FedEx delivery when you validate your contact details. No need to wait in line. We'll bring the card straight to you. Call 356-8500. Select option 7 for Visa Debit Direct Line and update your delivery address. Our team is available weekdays between 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. Take advantage of the security and convenience of chip and PIN technology. Free delivery is for a limited time, so act now.
Foundation. Foundation. The foundation. The foundation.
And we are back, ladies and gentlemen, 96.9 FM radio. Howard Grant and your company, The Foundation, chopping it down on this casual Friday right here on radio. Man, I'm so happy to be in good company today. My good friend Garth Roseborough is in the studio with us. If you're just tuning in, I don't know where you were. Stop it. I'm glad that you actually tuned in. We're touching on all these things, man. We're touching, like I said, Garth, I'm always glad that when you do that with me, a lot of persons, they come in here and they smile. They say, hold on, I won't get into that. I won't get into that. This kind of a fear of victimization, this fear of, being sidelined and marginalized socially, as always trying to be able to play right. This kind of, am I saying the right thing? That exists heavy in our society. So, like our good friend Jeff would say, it's really refreshing when we can have people speak with honesty and transparency to real issues that that affect the Bahamian people on a day-to-day basis. Now, when we left off, let me see if I can read a couple of these texts before we get anywhere and go further and do that. Foundation, would you be able to list the tangible results of the government's rampage of traveling on behalf of the Bahamian people? And can you quantify any detrimental effects of all this traveling? The Prime Minister has already said to us the other day that his traveling is paid off. I don't have to do that. He said that. I agree with him. But it didn't pay off on the aspect of the Bahamian people are enriched or we're growing or we're forging relationships. It paid off for the Prime Minister. I don't know if anyone else can see this. His relationships are yielding him an opportunity to be able to get things done for the country now because of the seat that he sits in. But he's forging relationships to ensure that he's secured in the future. That's legacy. That's all I say. Don't fight me for it. And don't hate me because I was able to say that. This is not for the Bahamian people. You're not speaking up and on behalf of the Bahamian people. These mammoth issues that you speak of that are bigger than you, I, and Dyrene.
Can I say
These
something?
issues are humongous. There could be no expectation that you would make a dent in it. But because of the mammoth nature of, let's say, climate change, and because you know that this is going far into the future, if you attach yourself to this, let's say, let me see who I can call. Let me see which name I could call. Al, what's his name? He started this in 1991. He started to talk about climate change. Oh God, what I did for me? Al. Anyway, I can get it. Somebody text it to me. Text it to me.
You know, the president?
No. He ran for president.
Al Gore.
Al Gore.
Okay. I was trying to figure what the heck
Why
you were trying to...
let me go on all the way there and you had Gore right on the tip?
Because I couldn't believe you were talking about Al Gore.
Okay, so Al Gore. Al Gore was the first person of climate change that I know from a political standpoint. This is all the way back in 19... almost synonymous in talking about these things. We also saw another person, right, take on this particular position. Went all the way up to Antarctica in his particular capacity. My point to you is that when you want to be able to ensure that there's sustainability for you and your children and your future financially and you can be able to take care of, you have to find an issue that's bigger than you, that outlasts your lifetime and still be able to continue to chip against this proverbial rock to provide the crumbs to take care of what you... That's just what I see here.
But can I substantiate that?
Go ahead.
When I was in the Dominican Republic recently, I never knew this before. And I understand this also happens in Jamaica. We caught a taxi to the bus station. I came out, got our bags out of the back trunk, and guess what we saw? A propane tank.
Mm-hmm.
And I asked the driver, what is that for? He said the car runs on propane. I said, what? He said, yes. They see, senor. I said, how long does a tank of gas last you? He said, I drive all day, all night, and that lasts me 3 weeks. Now, that's clean, burning fuel. If you look at the exhaust from the cars, there is no bad emissions coming from the cars. All the buses, everything runs on propane. The whole nation. Propane, the same gas that you have for your stove that lasts you for a month, 2 months, 3 months. It's the same propane they're running with their cars. And I said to myself, here we are with a fuel crisis in our country, number one. And number two, we're talking about protecting the environment and climate change and energy crisis.
Yeah.
And where is the legislation to ensure that we can move from burning this expensive fuel to burning natural gas in our cars and in our homes? So since our Prime Minister is so gung-ho going around the world, speaking about climate change, why are we not putting our speaking into action here and allowing these type of modifications to take place?
That's the only question been from the get-go.
I mean, I'm just trying to...
asking that same question from the
I said
get-go.
I'm trying to substantiate what you're saying.
Why I keep asking the same question. It doesn't... Listen to me. It doesn't matter what we articulate externally. If we don't make the significant steps towards change internally, then all you say is just hot air.
That's it.
All you say is hot air. there was always this person we knew in school who used to just row, right? Like, you know, I come from government school. We know the rowdy girls. They only get row. When we see them start rowing and getting loud, we turn our backs. But there are some people that if you step on their shoe, we know action coming.
Oh, Lord.
We know action coming. I come from government school. I don't say this like I'm proud of this. This is where the environment that I've come from in the 90s, in the late 80s, in the early 90s.
You know, them rowdy girls is the sweetest
Right?
ones, right?
There are people in school, if you bother with them, there's action. See, it doesn't matter what you say. Our government needs to be able to move significantly and be able to move towards action. Let me see if I can take one of these telephone calls. Calling on the line with us live. Go ahead.
Hey, what's up, brother?
I'm good, man. What's up with you?
Hey, God, what's up, bro?
Hey, my brother.
I thought they put you under the ground, God.
Yeah,
Would
well,
you save us again?
praise God. That's where they want to put me.
What's up, DeWitt?
All is well, bro. No disrespect to you, no disrespect. But God, I heard you said that leaders need to step up to the plate, right?
That's right.
As a leader, I call myself a tall bride.
Mm-hmm.
All right?
Mm-hmm.
As you speaking on this radio, I would encourage you and Mr. Grant that when you leave that station, that you go in Jubilee, as you get under the entrance of Jubilee Gardens.
I know Jubilee.
We're having a health and wellness free of charge, along with in conjunction with Dr. Michael Davos, the Member of Parliament for Tall Brides. But you know, sometimes we say things, right? But Howard, a lot of people in this country are doing certain things. You know, maybe we don't see it, right? But personally, I am a part of doing something, and I will continue to be a part of doing something, especially when it comes to the Right Honorable Michael Davos. So, you know, every government has its issues. And I just tell someone this, Howard, we have our one or two issues. I'm not slight. People might get mad. That's government. All right? But at the end of the day, right, Mr. Davis is doing a tremendous job, man. Because no longer than yesterday, Howard, before I hang up, I was so proud, not just to be a PLP, right, but to be a Bahamian when I heard the Minister of Labor, the Director of Labor, Mr. Farquharson, when he was saying that the Ministry of Labor are looking for so many people. But Howard, one thing about it, Mr. Duncombe, so many Bahamians in this country don't have an experience or don't have qualifications. So jobs are out there, you know, but jobs that are required for some people, they don't have the qualifications. But don't beat up on the government like that, man.
No, DeWitt, with all due
respect. You know, they're doing good. They're doing good. They're trying. I ain't gonna lie.
I like what you're saying, right?
But you have the responsibility to defend your government.
Yeah, but here's it.
We got to put this on the table.
But not only that, DeWitt, but DeWitt, let me say where we different.
I'm going to let you go. Thank you, my brother. Listen in.
And I respect what he's saying, right? Because that's who he is. So I have to respect that. However, here's where I differ. I, Garth Maynard Roseborough, I am a Bahamian first. I'm not a PLP. I'm not an FNM. I'm not a third-party leader. I am Bahamian. By me being a Bahamian first, I can make fair judgment and assessment of all situations in this country, and my loyalty only lies with my flag, period. And if the PLP does wrong, I say it. If the FNM does wrong, I say it. If the representative does wrong, I say it. If they do right, I praise them. I do not have an agenda against persons or personalities or parties. What I do have an agenda against is stupidity and foolishness, and I will not stand for it. I for one, I've taken time to educate myself for 10 years. People say, oh, he's an educated fool. So be it. But guess what? This educated fool doesn't work for anybody. I don't think I could work for anybody, because the things that some people dictate to you and demand of you on a day-to-day basis on a job, I'm not going to tolerate it. I love my freedom. I love doing what I do, but it allows me to have no fear, and it allows me to also be a very fair person. That's who I am. So I have no issue. I can tell you, for instance, your beloved Prime Minister Brave Davis. There was a tree out on Sandy Point or Sandy Port, and it had bees inside of it. It was Brave Davis's wife who paid her money to move those bees out of the tree. Brave Davis and his wife, they're philanthropists. They've helped a lot of people. I know friends who they paid their light bills, paid their mortgages. These are people who have their own good nature. But when the man is absent from doing what we need him to do in the country, I will scream, I will holler that daddy is not home. Daddy has gone away for too long. And if daddy doesn't come home to take care of this house, the house is going to fall apart. That's always somebody saying to it. It's falling apart. Now, it's not falling apart for you, because why? You're daddy's favorite child, and daddy making sure while everybody eating grits, and we ain't got no meat without grits, you got your grits with chicken sauce and sheep tongue sauce and everything else with yours. That's so, and I'm not mad at you. You have done what the good God of heaven has asked you to do. Place yourself in green pastures. Praise God for you. There's so many other people in this country that even if they try to get into green pasture, they'll never see the sight of green. It's always brown. It's always sandy. It's always a desert. There's no hope for these people. Why? Because they don't have the right last name, or because maybe they're not part of the right party, or because they don't attend the right church, or because they're not in a large society. That's just the way this country works. Very foolishly, we're not going to get anywhere like this until we're able to bridge our differences and move this country forward unitedly.
But I can tell you one thing, just to piggyback off of this particular concept, which you've been able to put out there. I can tell you this. Even whilst the grass is brown and sandy and dry, do you think the persons in this pasture don't recognize that? They understand that. And they also understand that people on the other side of the track, they often walk in the brown pastures, looking and soliciting their assistance, their votes, their this, their that. And no one's ever done anything about these things. And then we look at our education system. We look at our children with what we perceive to be no aspirations. My son was telling me, I said, so everybody graduating from your class? He said, no, I think a couple kids ain't graduating. I say, who? He said, maybe three guys. I said, guys? I said, dudes? I said, men? He said, yeah, about 3 guys. I said, that's crazy, but y'all only get like 6 guys in the class. It's like a few guys. In comparison, it's like 2 or 3 times more women. I said, why did the guys that happen? He said, they stopped coming to school for a little while. This is crazy. Then me and my wife start talking. I said, sometimes parents don't even recognize when children are asking for help. Mm-hmm. Sometimes we don't even take the time out to recognize that it's not about the fact that they're not enthused. It's not about the fact that something went wrong. That's what it is. And no one's reaching out to these kids to find out. Now, 2 years already didn't pass. 4 years pass. The kid's so far behind, he figured this is going to be his life. So they turn to drugs. They turn to the street. They turn to these particular things. And it was all because no one recognized. At that critical time when they needed them, no one showed up. And that's where we are in politics in this country. There is a lack of hope in politics perpetually.
That is true.
Perpetually. Persons like DeWitt and others can be able to always speak. DeWitt and Anton. Anton calls it all the time defending his government. There are persons that will relentlessly defend the Free National Movement when they're in position also. Because like you say, they're daddy's favorite child. They're going to be taken care of because of their proximity. And we don't take these things into consideration, you know. The country is in dire straits.
What the lady said in Pinewood, she said the representative for Pinewood.
What did he say?
So say, man, you can't bring us food. You bring us dirt.
No.
So you bring us dirt.
What she said, well, the member of parliament, he bought this. I buy that. I buy that. He ain't getting food. He can get dirt. My God.
Our people are something else.
No, but it's the truth, though.
But guess what?
It's the truth. It is the absolute truth.
We're in a hurricane zone, right? Where our houses need to be very strong. For the life of me, I just couldn't understand why the government doesn't provide each citizen with X amount of sand a year available if they want to build a house or
That's
home.
a contractual obligation. They could set that straight
Sand
and send that to Grand Bahama.
But sand is in abundance in this country.
They extracted
rather than people having these little houses leaning to one side, these old wooden houses, etc., Everybody could have had sand. Buy your cement.
Listen,
buy your rock. Build your house.
You and I are going to have deeper conversations about this. And
I'm talking about loving your citizenry.
We're going to have to do a podcast or something.
Just love our people, man. Just give our people some love. Give us something. Yeah?
We're going to have to do this, right?
Guess what? You wouldn't believe what they're willing to give those people on Paradise Island for that RCI resort. I bet you, look at the concessions what they get.
What you mean concessions out the yin yang?
Okay then.
That's what they can get.
And the foreigners keep getting these concessions and the people of the Bahamas can't get anything. Why?
What are the concessions for Airbnb?
You know why? Because there's no respect for the Bahamian people.
What are the concessions for Airbnb that you bill in your house?
That just hits a core.
What are the concessions?
Situation to
They're
me.
taxing you though.
Guess what? You know what it is? First of all, to work on a job, save your money, go into the bank, fight because you're not those other people. You're these people. I'm touching my skin now. And fight to get the loan for a house because they'll give you.
You finally get the loan.
Yeah, you finally get the loan.
You build
they
a
give you a
house.
car, but they will give you this house. But now you finally get the house.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you're making all these payments.
And you're about to lose your house now.
Inflation is all around you. Cost of living is up. And so you said, you know what? Here I have this 4-bedroom house. My children have gone off to school. I only need 2 bedrooms. Let me turn these other 2 bedrooms into Airbnb. And then the government said, oh, wait a minute, you're about to make some money.
Give us that.
Give us some of that.
Okay. Let me read this. It says, your guess is correct. Our leaders have let us down, along with most of our MPs. Governance is a national disgrace. This is a text that's coming through. It says, greetings, gentlemen. Until we change the haves and the have-nots, ain't nothing. Ain't gonna get attitude. Things will never be the same. This is EB, your guy.
Oh, EB.
Right?
That's Atlanta,
So it says,
Georgia.
Howard, be real. Brave Davis is no Mia Motley. This is crazy. Brave Davis is no Mia Motley. He needs a speech therapist or coach. We struggle to understand him. I don't agree with you. Maybe 7 years ago. But I've watched him evolve significantly. And I said to you that he is inspiring significantly. When he spoke to Pac the other day, did you read that stuff? Talk to me. Let me see if I can read a couple more of these things before we get out of here. Garth, I need a couple seconds. Yeah. So it says, Howard, we know this type of people Garth is sing for his supper. Ask him if he will offer himself for an office in the next election.
I did last election. I spent plenty of money last election, and I offered myself in the last election. I've offered myself to this country over the last 12, 15 years. But I want to say, so I heard the name Mia Motley again on your show today, and I just want to leave with this, though, my friend. Do we have a Mia Motley here in the Bahamas?
Of course.
And
I know a ton.
And who is she?
I know a ton.
And so
I know a ton.
If you don't have leadership,
because I got like 36 seconds, you need to stop.
Go ahead.
I know a ton
I was going to
of
throw it
Mia
out
Motleys who refuse to get in politics. They don't want nothing to do with the thing at all. However, I know some with the woman named who like Joker.
25 seconds.
What's she name? The girl who liked the Joker. Harley Dames. Harley, yeah. There's a lot of them who are eager, willing, and excited to get into politics.
So what about the old Loretta Butler Turner? Would she be a Mia Motley type person?
Of course, Loretta Butler would.
So if she returned,
consultant for the United States.
If she returned to EF&M, could she be a
That's a
future
whole
Mia
different.
Motley?
That's a whole different. No.
I'm just asking a question.
She will always be Loretta Butler Turner. She has the inspiration, motivation, and capability of being able to go far beyond.
Maybe she'll be the savior.
And she knows the culture that exists here, so she ain't gonna be nobody else. But we have to embrace these particular people. Guys, we are flat out of time. It's 2:00. Garth, I want to thank you so much, my brother. You're a good, decent man for being able to afford us an opportunity to do this. We can do this. And Jeff said we can invite him next week. Jeff, we can invite you next week when we do this again. Let's make it like a regular thing. Let's make it like a regular thing. Let's do these things, guys.
It's getting hot in
guys,
here.
96.9 FM radio. Make sure you go down to the Tiki Hut. Right there in the shadows of the point. Tell him Howard sent you for the foundation. Get yourself 30% or even more off of the free drink. Make sure you go check him out, my good friend Byron. This is the foundation. We'll see you guys on Monday. Happy Father's Day to all the fathers.
Amen.
The real fathers. Not the single mothers who got to
Sparky
play mommy and daddy.
Muff and
Give me a
Action
chance.
and Reggie Mill and all those people.
My
Happy Father's Day.
God, give me a chance. Guys, enjoy your weekend this weekend. Be good and decent. I hope the church full and nobody wants your crab and rice.
Nobody.
You need to stop it.
Yes.
Give the man something decent. Have a beautiful weekend, guys.
Red snapper.
Group up. See you later, man. Have a beautiful weekend, guys.
The foundation. The foundation. The foundation.
The Foundation with Hart Grant is brought to you by Burger King, Commonwealth Bank, Kelly's Home Center, Marco's Pizza, Rev Bahamas, and Ron's Electric Motors.
Foundation.